Hello, my dear ones. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And I love reading all your texts or whatever they call these, emails or whatever they call them. Rose, congratulations, honey. This is just, Shannon just handed me this. This is Rose Friedman. Pretty good. Goal completed. Woohoo. For sure. Thank God. Cannot believe. Today is day 65 of grapes only. 65 days of grapes only. Now, you have to realize that this is a food source. And if you look at most species in the wilds, they don't have a wide variety of food sources. So they stay within more mono eating, and I've mentioned this before, how much better you feel mono eating. Matter of fact, after mono eating, meaning a single food at a time, your body gets so used to being light and easy to digest that when you go back to more complicated combinations, you feel it. You feel it in your mind, you feel it. It's interesting about frequencies and vibrations and stuff like this. The lad was asking the last one, what is frequency? What's vibration? You know, you hit a tuning fork. What's vibration? You know. So that Rose, this is good stuff. 65 days, a great take on this, and I love what she says here on the side note. Do not underestimate the power of fruit. I've said this for 40 some years now, almost going 45 years or so. Don't underestimate the power of fruit, and don't underestimate the power of the grape. There's nothing. I mean, the grape is something else. And you all know that. And then when you do grape juice, it's even concentrated more. You have to be a little more careful because these are powerful foods. And listen to this. Major scoliosis, full C curve is gone. Let me read that again. Major scoliosis, full C curve is gone. I've said this before. I've seen people straighten up their backs all day long. Congratulations, Rose, because you would have never done it any other way. You did really well. And that shows you how powerful not only the food is, but how beautiful your body is in responding to the chemistry now that she's given her body. Her body loves the chemistry. No question. So it's straightening itself right back up. It's cleaning itself out. It feels good. And that's the power of it all. It's just incredible, Rose. I love to hear your wins, because it just shows you how powerful, this program is. And it's just God stuff. We're just eating the fruits and using the botanicals made by the same creator that made the fruits. That's all we're doing. We might use a glandular, to help resurrect that which is pretty far sleeping, but outside of that, we're pretty restrictive in terms of using tools that are not really tools, like liver, gallbladder parts from bears and, stuff like that. My spine is as straight as a light pole. Just saying, y'all, hang in. These keep digging things are happening even through me. Can't always see it right away. Don't give up, Rose. Rose, love you, honey, sweetie. Good thing. Good advice for people, too. Sometimes, now I want you to remember this. Always remember this, that the healing crisis, and sometimes I forget to mention that. But the healing crisis can be the same symptom that you've been dealing with. And here's a good example. You can go along, and your symptoms, and I've had this with many things, but I had it with the scleroderma case. The scleroderma, you really don't want to even know what that is, let alone, get the body on that level. But it's just that you start, your body just is at a point of acidosis that it just scars and it's squeezing itself off. It's just the squeeze and the scarring till it chokes you to death. It's just not good. Put it that way. That scleroderma is horrible. But I remember this young girl up in Indiana or Ohio, and she was about 18 or 19, diagnosed with scleroderma. So her symptoms, they were going away. Pretty soon she says, I'm pretty free with that. I want to go check with my MD. I said, oh, yeah, do that and get a test and see where you are. In that week before she went to the medical doctor, she had a healing crisis, and all her symptoms of this came back. And she just felt tight, and all came back. And she called me panicking, scared. She says, "It's back." I said, No. I said, "You're probably in the final healing crisis." I said, "You just ride with it, honey. Stay the fruit, berries, and melons, and stay on the earth. Push right through it." She did. Those symptoms only lasted 2 or 3 days. Boom, gone, permanently gone, free of it. Now, sometimes these symptoms, you don't have a symptom where there's not a problem. Think about that. You're not going to have pain or a symptom where there's no problem, where there's no backing up of lymph, there's no acid retention in an area, or a genetic weakness in an area. You're not going to feel that area. And that goes to show you that when your two fluids are moving adequately, quite nice, everything, all the wastes are being removed and all the goodies are being brought in properly in a chemical ratio, fruits, berries, and melons, and maybe a salad once in a while, that the body just resurrects the human body into something beautiful. It might look too skinny for a while, just like we said. Your car sometimes after an accident gets into a body shop, they're going to rip the fenders off, they're going to do a lot of work on it, pulling out the metal, putting in stuff, and so your bodies might not look really beautiful for a little while, but you're in the process of getting well. And it's just like what's going on with the campaign. I can't even hear the campaign now in America. It's just, oh my God. It's just, oh. So, but that's the sort of thing. So, incredible, Rose, incredible. But it shows you what you can do on a raw food diet. 65 days grapes. When you're coming down and you're loaded with tumors and your life is in your hands and you've had radiation and chemo, you got to get to this level. This is the saving level. But you see what it did to her spine? It straightened it right up. I had a quad in the chair, that extreme scoliosis to the right. He had a shelf, baby. He had a shelf. Plus, remember I told you he fractured, and I'll get that video up. In fact, we do have that video up somewhere up there. And he fractured his right femur 12 years before I met him. And overnight, his back pulled itself straight, and his femur was healed in a 28-degree angle like this, bulging out his thigh, 2 inches shorter than the left leg, pulled itself straight with the left leg. And I'm looking at that and I'm going, what? I've had some sensational cases through the years that it showed me the power of nature and what it can do with understanding the proper species that the human is. That's the first order of the day. But we shouldn't even have to do that. When we pick up something like a dead animal, say, that's not our species. We're not polarized to that sort of food sources, but because of the migration of the Homo sapien out of the islands, it becomes obvious. But congratulations, Rose. Good job. But you all can do the same thing. A lot of you already have. Good job. Never said it was easy. Well, I might have said it was easy a few times, but it's only not easy when you look at your ability of lack of self-discipline and stuff like this, because once you get after a while, you're 2 or 3 days down, you can go fairly long time with that. I had absolutely no problem living 6 months on grapes. And then there was Babe. What'd she do? 3 years on vegetable juices and stuff. So this is power. This is more nutrition. When someone eats an apple, they're probably eating more nutrition than they've had in a month or two if they're eating all cooked or dead and stuff. Maybe more than they've had in years. So you got to realize, when you introduce your body to live energy and live chemistry, it's a resurrection. It's a resurrection. It's a resurrection from the dead and the dying, eating dead foods and warped chemistry into life and energy and awareness. And it's just huge difference. Man has to get there. And this is really true with the babies. I'm so proud of you parents for raising your babies raw, because This is the time you have the easiest chance to wean and work these genetic weaknesses out of these children in their growth stages like this, and you can assist that, get their endo straight, their growth is perfect, everything is perfect. When you're talking about the trouble these babies are having and what's going on in St. Jude's and everything else, you understand how vital it is to take care of yourself and your children with the raw foods and stuff. It's horrible out there. It's a killing field out there. And we have to all wake up to that. Hello, dear Dr. Morse and team. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that, Rick. It's a wonderful I came across you. Love you, man. Blessings to you and all who seek for health. That's the way I think. Yep. We got to get the world realizing it's a good thing to seek. Health is a good thing to seek, because it's your experience. And a lot of people are so pulled and trapped in the mind and emotions that they forget that who's driving the machinery here, and that your experience is directly related to the health of the machinery. And that even the emotions can get worked when the adrenals are down, and then you start having emotional relationships that are not complete. You have all kinds of things. So from an emotional viewpoint, from a mental viewpoint, and from a physical viewpoint, just the health of the human body, the five senses. When you start to lose the sense of smell and the sense of taste, you start to get unhappy. First, because obviously your thyroid and parathyroid's involved in the congestion, just like the sinuses and the olfactories, but still, you lose your sense of taste. When you start smelling and tasting again, it's nirvanic. It's like, wow, I see how important those senses are to my happiness and my experience on the planet. Even though it's very limited in terms of what you can experience out of your body into these other bodies, they're much greater. And the ability to move is almost literally by thought. So there's a lot of difference. This is really mundane, very chemical, very inert, and we have to be careful about not getting pulled down into the lower levels of consciousness here, which is a lot of people are being pulled down like that. The egos are being overbuilt, all of that kind of stuff. My question for you, I suffer from what seems to be cold urticarial. I always used to have tongue twister with that one. Whenever I go out in winter, I get hives-like redness on my face, forehead, and cheekbones beneath the eye. Could you tell me what's the culprit of this? Also, I do have some urinary issues. Wouldn't doubt that. I'll tell you what, urinary flow is weakened and sometimes split urinary system. Ooh. Okay, so Rick, you want to make sure, of course, we're talking about the prostate's involved there, the ureters and urethra as well. Again, they can swell any tissue, the tubes, the pipes as well. Any tissues can swell with the retention of acidosis. And if you're having, Rick, a weak bladder and kidney, then that compromises the ability to get rid of your cellular waste, your acids, your metabolitic waste. And of course, then that sets you up for inflammation or acidosis, however you wish to look at that. But when you go out into the cold, that starts to detoxify you. That is an alkaline mixture. So, I was raised in the snow and ice and stuff, and so my parents would always say, don't go out in the cold, you'll catch a cold. It's like, okay. But you do if you're a milk drinker like I was, of course you would. Because cold is alkaline. Cold starts the anionic environment, which is an environment of hydration and liquidity, where things that were agglomerated or sticky or getting dehydrated now hydrates, loosens up, and flows. And it's easy to understand that when you understand the nature of both sides of the chemistry, what they offer, what you can expect to experience on each side. And maybe that's the approach that science should have, is in school explaining to the youngsters the two sides of chemistry, basic simplistic chemistry. Because in my school, you had full-bore chemistry. And you're in high school if you elected to take it. And of course, most people failed it, or they definitely didn't do well. I made straight A's in chemistry until I started dating a lot. And I was still a musician, and I still made straight A's. I always found that stuff not pretty easy. But, so, what that's telling you, though, is what do you got under the skin? This is a reflection of your lymphatic system. See, if you didn't have that lymphatic retention, you wouldn't see anything going on. But, you can also see more skin problems. Both ways can pull. But in an alkaline environment, it starts to open up and get things moving. As a rule, in an alkaline environment, you see your symptoms disappearing. But you can see them come forth like that as a detoxification effort. That would suggest, Rick, that you're pretty backed up in the head area. You might want to look at your eyes and take a look at that, because again, when you're backed up in the head and throat area, there's absolutely nothing good that I can see comes of that, because you got the thyroid and parathyroids. That's a whole world into itself in terms of skin and feeling good about yourself on that, the spiritual side, and your bones and connective tissue, on just a whole bunch of things are involved in those two glands, or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 glands. Then you've got the pituitary, then you've got your eyes, that's vision, and all of these sort of things. So, getting up here, and then of course any medical work with cancers of the throat and above is a nightmare from pure hell. Anything below is a nightmare, but I saw one guy in the store the other day. He barely had enough room to swallow. They cut out most of his throat. And it was like, better to go on a 65-day grape fast and then to have half your throat, or 3/4 this was, at least 2/3 of his throat was gone. It's a lot better just to get some self-discipline, detox yourself, but you have to have the information available to do that. If you don't, then you can blame yourself and kick your butt all the way to your coffin. But you're not going to die. Your body's going to go, but you're not. You got to remember that we don't die. Our bodies do, no question. It can only, cells and all that can only survive so long in an acid environment, and then you start chewing yourself up. So you never die, though. You just move your attention out of the body and do another one. That's all that is. Or it depends where you are spiritually, where you go, and all that. But good question, Rick. Urinary flow, though, you want to get after those kidneys and bladder there and the adrenal glands, and make sure you're filtering with your kidneys and everything, because you don't want this to create more problems up here. Rosacea, all these things like that. I had that for years. I didn't realize, I thought that tuna fish salad sandwiches were healthy. This is going way back in the early 70s. What's wrong with that? See, so even if you use Vegenase and things like this, healthier. All these things are crap and not healthy. What's healthy is fruits, berries, melons, and then salads, of course, for those that can tolerate them and deal with them, I guess, and green drinks and your veggie fruits and stuff. That's where true health is, not in really anything else, to tell you the truth. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate that. April Robertson. Dr. Morse, hello, dear one. Hello, dear one. Back to you, my one. I have a different question than you usually get. Okay, what do you got? I would like to know if you have a suggestion for what a person that wants to work in your field, what type of degree should we go after? I was thinking biology, major, or health and wellness maybe. I love biology. That was another one I excelled at. My biology teacher couldn't believe it, how someone could make straight A's in biology like that. Offered to take me up into Canada. I don't know what that was, but offered me to go up in there and camp and learn about biology and stuff that way. But I love that stuff. And botany, don't forget botany. I've had a little botany, and it comes and goes. I probably have 4 or 5 degrees from different herbal colleges. And a good herbal college will start to teach you botany. And one of the best herbal colleges to me on this planet is Dominion in Canada. They are an incredibly good school. I like them. And now they're much better than they were. They have different levels to them and everything else. Emerson in Canada was very good. I don't know if it's still there, but I love them because in a distance learning, you have a way to, if the school isn't really good, then you have a way of getting through your classwork easy and through the books and everything like that. I like to make people think. When you're taking an exam, I want you to think. Because I'm after, do you know the subject matter? That's what an exam is about. This idea of memorization, see, that's why schools shouldn't have these friggin' exams like that. You have an exam, no one fails proper exams. It gives the teacher the ability to see where you're weak and then works with you on that. That's what I do. When you take an exam from the school, it gives us a chance to see where you're weak, and then we're going to help you with that, because no one fails. This isn't about failing or competition. This is about homing your skills to be a great healer. Yeah. So I would suggest herbal degrees, to be honest with you. Naturopathy right now is just so messed up. Typical. Humans mess up some beautiful things sometimes. It's just typical. But naturopathy is tough, and unless you get naturopathy instead of naturopathic medicine, you're learning wrong. And that's just another bunch of people wasting their money. Now can call themselves naturopaths, but it's not true naturopathy. Naturopathy is the study of nature, not the study of medicine, the study of nature. The study of medicine is a voodoo system. It's a killing machine. It's ridiculous. The amount of people that have been maimed and killed, the amount of dogs maimed and killed, the amount of primates maimed and killed, the amount of, you couldn't even count the amount of rice and stuff like that. So for what? For what? To test what? See, this is the problem. And it's a sad, 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 sad problem for those of you that love animals and stuff like me. Did you see my little mocha poo? Yeah, he's cute, ain't he? Looks like more of he's supposed to be a teacup. That's not a teacup. He's 8.5 pounds. So I don't know what he's going to be, but he's a cute little thing. Poodle more than anything, it looks like. But that's what I would do, is get into an herbal degree, go to our schools, it's only 5 days, and really understand how you take someone and clean them up. It doesn't take that long to learn this art. And a lot of you are really getting it, because if you get it, all the pieces of life fall right into place for you. And you start understanding how everything is working then. And you can use that as your core to go off of, and you can see why everything exists. When you understand the core of something, I always use that idea of a good foundation. When you get and understand a good, solid foundation, then everything wheels off of that. The AMA no one here ever got a good foundation of health to build on. So now you have these ideas and theory type modalities that are out there. Not so much in the natural health field. We have modalities that are therapeutic. Chiropractics, acupuncture, these are therapeutic. Curative modality, there's only one in the whole world. There's only one true curative modality in the whole wide world. And that's what you're listening to. This is true naturopathy that takes advantage of the science of nature, the chemistry of nature, the physics of nature, and the botanicals of nature, and applies it to the resurrection of the human cell and the changing of the fluids. And it's just understanding that. That's the only true healing modality, because it's the only way, if you understand how you create things, is how you unwind it and regenerate tissue. With that, though, you're going to add qigong, you can add acupuncture, you can add chiropractics. Essential to me to add chiropractics occasionally, just to keep your spine and self straight. And since I twerk my lower back, I've seen evidence how the spine is definitely related to the lymphatic system and not just the nervous system. So there's some big things that need to be discovered yet in terms of the cerebral spinal fluid, its role, and all of that, and what happens when your spine is out to the lymph flow out of the head and then out of the lower extremities. There's a lot that is not looked at yet, but we will be looking at those the more and more we get things going like we're doing. Just love that. But that's what I would do, sweetheart. Don't try to get educated, because that takes you down to wrong information. Get your basics. For me, is get your basics as an herbalist. Any little degree you want, you can always go to the Botex and stuff and get little things like that. IV therapies, or learn how to take blood pressures. Easy stuff like that. We don't do any IV therapy here, but you can do anything at Botex. You take on part of nursing if you want, or something like that. An LPN course is only a year long. That's nothing. And so don't learn. the wrong education for what you want here, but you get into the dietitian stuff, you don't want to go there because that's flatly way out in voodoo land. These guys have no clue. They're part of the problem, not part of the solution. So I feel sorry for them because, I'm sure they don't look at it that way, but these dietitians in hospitals and nursing homes, these are horrible. They just don't know the facts. They're taught academics the way, the theories and stuff that's out there in the medical world, but that's not reality. That's not truth. So that field is not good. So really get your botanical degree and courses on botany are fun. Just to know your plants and stuff. I'm into clinical iridology or herbology, but I could do a lot of herb walks and stuff like that. There's a lot to learn out there. I remember on Naked and Afraid one time, this girl came and she was she had done some studying on plants. She did well. Yeah, she was eating this. She did well. All of them were starving for meat. If they didn't have meat, they were going down. Their own attitudes were taking them down, depleting them. I don't have protein, I'm going to die. She was humming, walking around, eating well, to them a little bit, kind of picking that up, but she was eating well, doing well. Just saying. Thanks, Rick. April. Dr. Morse, I have it. Okay. Now, of course, I would also get regenerative detox certified. Well, that's what you want because you want regeneration. You want that. Now, we have online classes coming up here. And this beautiful, beautiful one of our teams, Tracy, she is a love. She's a sweetheart. She has put together an online class like nobody's business. Fun stuff. We're putting the final things together for it now. So you'll have an online class to take. And we're going to get deeper and deeper and deeper into that so that you can feel comfortable that you're being educated at the same time. Nobody fails. I like proper education. You feel good. It's fun to learn stuff that's true, stuff that makes you feel good, stuff that you can apply. And in a world where there's, the same old thing, there's a lot of new jobs available in our field. Our field, there's so much need for healers. And the more that people are waking up and looking around, they're seeing a world devoid of people that have the awareness. This one individual, she sent in a fairly large check as a donation. I just talked to her this morning. Sweet, sweet, sweet lady. Sees the need. She was in a grocery store and she was talking to the checkout lady. I think it was a younger lady. And she was talking about health and nutrition. And the cashier said, well, I've got a good book you need to read. I've been working on myself, trying to get myself healthy, but I already ran up one charge card, and she said, I'm going to have to get another one. And this lady said, well, I have someone too that I'm working with, and I have his book, and I would like you to see that. And so they're talking, and I don't know exactly the conversation, of course, but this lady realized how important it is for those that have money to help others, because this poor lady was struggling to get after her health, and she was doing her best. So this cashier wrote the name of her book. Whew, cool stuff. It was our book. And it was pretty cool. So the lady that was checking out had our book, and the cashier had our book. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. So we're getting out there. And thanks to some of you beautiful donators, we are helping a lot of people. We're helping them already anyway, but your love and joy is just on top of that. We let people know who's helping them, and good stuff. How you doing? Help the world get well. Pretty good stuff. Because if you look at it, you're just helping God. It's all God. So when you reach out a hand, it's God helping God. Please help. I don't want to waste time or more money. I have the first 2 years of college done. I'd do an herbal degree myself, but it's up to you. I think an herbal degree would be cool. Hand Luke. I would learn a little botany, biology. You don't use any of that stuff here too much. It's nice to know the human body. I would definitely take anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. Anything like that. Take a biochemistry course. Yeah, little stuff like that at a Motec. You could lump it up and get something, but I've taken a lot of courses at Motec, and I don't use them as degrees and add them up to get any type of degree, because I don't care about that. You know, we're so fixated. Are you educated? In what way? You know, in what way are we educated? The trouble is, are we educated the wrong way and spend a lifetime walking down the wrong road to Hellville? No, we need to change things. Now, I was mentioning this the other day, that in the spiritual, I call them the spiritual worlds, but, you know, in the God worlds, they're all God worlds, but when you're in the astral or in these other worlds, a lot of places, people don't live in the cities anymore. They live out in the rural areas. They go to the cities for their education. And you can take coursework, you can do anything you want. It's creation is ever expanding itself. Ever expanding itself. You watch, can't keep the weeds out. I mean, it's ever growing and just full of love and expressing itself. And those things that are weak, it terminates them and redoes them. It's just amazing. The process of refining itself and expanding itself. Amazing. Why wouldn't it? And you and I and all of us are a part of that, a beautiful consciousness of growth and expansion. But we're also a part of the negative side too. You got to realize that. That's within these lower, what's doing duality. When God has to create duality, it has to deal with both sides of itself, both positive and negative. Hi. Oh. Oh well. So it's just, you know, seeing everything as part of the one. Thanks for that, honey. And I don't blame you. I would go that route. I would play in that field. Looking back on it, I love my nature. But if you can find a naturopathy degree, kind of like the school I went to, they came to America and created another school. I'm going to get my school work out and I'll show you. He moved over here and started a school over here as well for a while. I don't know how well they're doing, but it was all naturopathy coursework, and I loved that. Everything feels good. Color therapy, sound, botanicals, massage. Naturopathy covers the whole range. I had to know a little of everything. I had to know a little chiropractics. I had to know a little massage. I had to know a little of everything. And I think this is the School of Science and Biology in Portugal. Baptista, Dr. Baptista. Anyway, good old friend. I haven't talked with him in years and years and years and years. I remember, excuse me, I remember the first year I went over there. They stuck me on TV. And I remember that we were walking through customs, and no offense, Portugal, but I was initially bringing in some herbs for your people because we hadn't passed through customs yet, and you had a lot of suffering people in Portugal, so I was helping them, and I was bringing in suitcases of herbs to help them, you know. And so me and my significant other at the time, we went through this big round, I guess it was customs, or it was guys with the guns and everything, you know. And suddenly the doors closed, the buzzers went off, and these guys with guns walked up to us. And the lady that was with me that could speak Portuguese and her husband went on through. So it was just, you know, us two. And I'm freaking out, because I'm going, oh, I got a lot of herbs here and stuff. And I had these two big white cases that my iris cameras were in. And this guy comes up to me and he says, what's in those white cases? I'm going, oh, well, that's my camera. I take pictures of eyes and stuff like that. And he says, that's your tools? And I'm going, yes, I'm a doctor from, oh, you the doctor from America that cures cancer? Doctor from America that cures, open up. And we were like that. We were like that. We were escorted out with love and beauty. I've always loved the Portuguese people. But I forget where I was going, where my story was, but in the science of, I can't remember the name of his school, but you have to be a chiropractor, I think, and an osteopath or something before you can be a naturopath. It's like, wow. And then you have 2 years on top of that for iridology. And I remember, so I went on this, they have a station there that's viewed by a lot of people. And it's a medical show, kind of. This guy's famous over there, and he's married a famous model. So he pulled me on and interviewed me. I forget, I think I had 5,000 to 10,000 calls coming in a day in that radio station, or that TV station. And I filled his day timer up, Dr. Baptista's day timer up, he said, for 2 years. Shows you the need out there. We were viewed by 250 million people. Another year I brought Jensen and we went on the same show. Talked about that same thing. It was fun stuff. Hello, Dr. Morse. I am a 54-year-old male with multiple nodular goiter, and one of 2 of them sits on the trachea. Oh, I have 7 nodules, the biggest at 6 centimeters. Wow. And 4 centimeters. All my thyroid lab tests are normal. Well, this is the lymph system in the filtering through the thyroid. So as long as it's not affecting the cells that are producing anything, that's why you probably see it as normal. But this is the lymph system. And of course, that thyroid, the next thing we have to worry about is these nodules becoming cancerous. Just only because that's acid sitting there blowing back on the cells. Right now, your body's able to deal with this. What can I do to shrink the nodules naturally? Any detox plan, diet plan, and exercises to help? All the best, Michael. Yeah. All right, here's an important thing here. Remember that lady had just been on a 63 or 8-day grape fast? I would start on a 10 one. I would put myself, Michael, on a 10-day grape and lemon juice diet right now. Get them out of there. Get that goiter out of there. Now, go to the protocol video and get yourself on your protocol. Get yourself on at least a 14-week protocol or one for that. You would not be taking anything for the thyroid gland, but you would be going after your lymphatic system heavily, and that is kidneys and adrenals, your lymph system, your skin. Get everything going. If your thyroid's in pretty good shape, then you should be able to sweat. So I would just have everything get going here. Don't want to sit here too long with that. Get this goiter up. It's very not difficult to get the goiter off. Get the nodules down, but it's all of the nodules and goiter are all lymphatics. And you just got to take it. I would do a lot of bowel cleaning too. Just everything opened up and just get everything hydrated and filtering. And they'll come right out on you. But I'd do it now. You're 54 and you don't want that goiter, all that to become cancerous and then remove your thyroid, because that's not good either. Men without thyroid or women without thyroid, not fun. So I would do that. Diet plan, fruits, berries, and melons only. This is tumors. Remember, goiters are tumors. These are all tumors, lymphatics. Go after them as you would any cancer or anything like that, what we call cancer. Damaged cells, atrophy, decay, anything like that. You're going to obviously pull up. You're going to do everything raw. Why would you eat anything cooked when you're in trouble? You want to do everything raw, everything that's astringent, fruits, berries, and melons. Get your kidneys filtering, get that lymph hydrate, get everything moving, and you're done. Get that out of there, and you're done. You got lymphatic herbs to help draw and pull on these things, then you're done. That's what I would do. If not, this danger, 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 red light, red light, red light. Not good. Not good. Anything here up, not good. Not good down there either. Go for it, my friend. Go for it. And before you be long, you be gone. No goiter or nodules. Your thyroid, sounds like your stats are pretty good, but that doesn't mean anything. I've said this many times before. Your blood work can look beautiful, and you sit there with tumors all through you. Wrong system. Wrong system. That's the lymph system, and your stats are mainly checked in your blood system. Wrong system. See what I'm saying? You can have all kinds of tumors and inflammation, but most of your stats look pretty good. And you can have a 0.5, 0.6 creatinine, just not be filtering, just not breaking down the kidneys, and everything is good. Hello. Hello. Can you explain why some people have different eye colors? Well, of course, like the left blue and the right green hazelnut. Of course, it is a sign of candidus, but why it appears only in one eye? All right, thank you, and that's Risha's. No name, eh? Well, I'll say this is the no name question. First of all, let me back up and say this isn't a sign of candidus. Changing of eye colors has nothing to do with candidus, but it has a lot to do with your lymphatic system. And this is the one thing that'll help you in iridology, and all those iridologists out there who never learned this from Jensen and stuff because they weren't quite there yet. And that is understanding the lymphatic system and how it changes the eye's colors. So let's look at that. In a blue eye, when you start to build up mucus and acids, you start to see the blue eye turn white. White is an acute stage of weakness or toxicity, however you wish to look at it. Acute, even though they claim that's new onset, it really is. That's when you're starting to create things. You can have symptoms when you get that, clogged up sinuses, headaches. You can have symptoms of acute all over the place. Pain, all kinds of things, absolutely. Colds and flus, things like this. However, most of these symptoms are treated with pharmaceuticals. And because we treated the acute manifestations, which is just really a day or two fast and you're cleaned up, we treated those symptoms. We now have subacute conditions. In a subacute condition, it will turn your white in your eye yellow. Now, you have to distinguish between that and sulfur, because sulfur is orangish yellow as well. So you just have to distinguish the difference in that, and we teach you that in iris school, in iridology class. Now, as none of these manifestations is properly addressed in terms of elimination, now you're retaining. You're eating proteins that are mucus forming, milks and meats and things that the body is not in harmony with. You don't feel those things because we have been eating those things for years. It's still getting the blowback, but little at a time, little at a time, little at a time, a little glass of milk, a little milkshake, little at a time, mucus building up in the bronchi, in the lungs, in the sinuses, little at a time, till poof! I can't breathe today. I wonder why I got that. I must have caught something. Now, you didn't create nothing, did you? So that's the point, is we create these things. Don't get mad at nature if we have microbe intervention. That's because we created the condition or the terrain to invite the little creatures of nature in. Can't get mad, and you can't kill them, because we've seen what the use of antibiotics do, and it's a nightmare besides killing a whole bunch of people and compromising lymph breakdown, acid breakdown. So you have to look at that. So as these conditions are not eliminated, they're treated, we now see a blue eye turning brown. This is when you start to see the word hazel. Hazel is either brown around the pupil or orange. Orange around the pupil would be heavy sulfur. But brown around the pupil is a chronic GI tract, and that's the place that gets it first. The GI tract and the kidneys go down. Well, then that sets up the rest of the body. Right there. Right there. And so that's the problem. So what you're seeing is lymphatic problems in your eye, which is much worse than candidus. Candidus! See, so you really want to take care of this. Now, like the left blue. So her left eye, or his, whoever this is, the left eye is blue. I want you guys to help me with this one. The left eye is blue and the right eye is hazel. What's the problem? All right, so the left eye is blue. All right, so we're looking at a kidney that's filtering pretty good. We're looking at eyes that are blue. On the right side, we're looking at kidneys that are not filtering. We're looking at a kidney and adrenal that's much weaker than the left side, or at least not filtering. We see the backing up of the lymph system more on that side than the other side, and we're feeling that side as being weaker. Because most of you realize now you're feeling one side over another. In time, it in both sides. But at first, it's always one side over another side. And that's why you get these. Now, question, can you reverse these? But of course, and that's what you want to do. Especially this person that has one side of their body in trouble, much more over the other. They definitely want to get their body, their kidneys cleaned up and filtering and get all this cleaned out, and then they'll have 2 blue eyes. Now, if there's black in these fibers, not good. That's the final stages of decay where even the fibers break down and there's a hole in your fiber. It's almost like there's a symbiotic relationship all through your body. When things are affected over here, you feel them over here. It's funny how that is. Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Can you talk about keeping our dogs healthy? I'm tired of feeding them processed food. I've added chicken and eggs and broccoli from a good farm. Oh, well. But I'm curious about maintaining their well-being and health. I'm seeing too many dogs dying from kidney failure and cancer. Isn't that true? Well, we know that the canines are universally kidneys. And like even on my little ones, they get these little tumor things and then they go away up and down on them. That's because they're not like, again, here's an omnivore, and again, a different species than the Homo sapien. The Homo sapien are not omnivores, and whoever's out there thinking that they are quite wrong. Most omnivores don't have sweat glands. There's differences within the species. So, sweat out the tongue. All right? So, that they don't have sweat glands. So that's what makes toxifying these animals even worse. For example, you never want to give dogs and things dairy products and cheeses and things like this, because now you're compromising their lymphatic systems, and they don't have one as well as ours. We have all kinds of neat things, sweating out the skin. We got all kinds of stuff. So I'm looking at raw, and there's a lot of raw foods out there for dogs now, and made up in these pet supermarkets and stuff. They're opening up into the blue diamonds, but also into the raw. So I would go check that out. We use a log and real meat, but we give them treats, stuff like that once in a while. But a lot of these doggy treats are so bad, so chemical. I can't even believe it. Some of these, I look at Purina, and they put out some pretty bad stuff in the past, and I keep watching them, and they get rid of the grains, and then they get rid of this, and now they're getting rid of that. It's funny how suddenly all dog food is grain-free, all these things corn-free. This goes to show you. So if grain-free is good for dogs, wouldn't you think grain-free would be important for humans? Yeah. Grain isn't good for anybody, to be honest with you. Starch, of course, can founder an animal, create high acidosis of eating too much. You can create acidosis in too much starch as well. Eggs is something I'm not real hot on with animals. I don't think eggs. The only way I would give an egg to a dog is raw. That's the only way I'd give an egg to a dog is raw. And that would be a non-fertilized egg. But I would definitely do them that way. I like fruits. That little poodle loves all kinds of fruit. I have orange juice the first thing in the morning. He likes to come get his orange juice first thing. Loves it. So that sort of thing. I think vegetables with dogs, like the little Chihuahua, Chipurkey. I don't know if you've seen her. Sugar, she's real little. She eats greens to poop, because when she's feeling sick, she'll go out and eat greens, and it makes her spasm and everything else. And it's like, I've always thought greens vegetables for dogs were a stretch, because when you look at the GI tract of a herbivore, extremely long compared to an omnivore. I mean, like night and day difference. And yet, we're giving these vegetable matters to the dogs, and I'm not too sure. I know dogs like broccoli and things like that. Peas, carrots. This loaf that I have has peas and carrots in it, and other veggies along with chicken. But I just hate being responsible for other lives, animals' lives and stuff like that. It's funny, a guy like me, but it's just, cute things. So that's what I see too. And kidney failure is a big one. So I keep my dogs on some herbs once in a while, like the Fab 4. For a month, give them some kidney and endocrine gland, and maybe parasite M to deworm or fungal them, and things like that. Just maybe a little lymphatic. And remember, I told you I had a good friend, and she took an old poodle that was ready for the farm. I mean, this thing couldn't see or hear or anything anymore, and turned it into a little puppy. I mean, this thing was jumping again. I mean, it was freaked me out. Freaked me out. She said, well, the dog was foaming at the mouth a little bit. I think I gave him too much lymph for me. And I'm going, I said, yeah. But, I mean, she resurrected this old dog and turned it into a puppy. I mean, I couldn't believe it. So, cool stuff for animals and men. Herbs are for all species. Good stuff. Good stuff. That's about all I know. Oh, Rins. This is about yin and yang in health. This is almost an end to the page, Yin and the Yang healing methods. Can you please read this? Is this true? What should I do with this information? Well, I don't know. That's all I have on this piece of paper, guys, is this one question. The yin and the yang of it all, healing methods. I'm not familiar with them, to be honest with you. It's just what we're using here, though, is the acid and the base. It doesn't matter what words you put on them. Duality is duality. Yin and yang, positive, negative, male and female, hot and cold, acid, base. But it doesn't matter. There's all duality is duality, But if you observe chemistry enough, and you observe physics in the universe enough, it is my expressed opinion, again a theory, an expressed opinion, that we're dealing more in ovals as opposed to circles, because you have to have a base dominance to have a proper, for things to properly survive. Even 50-50 acid-base doesn't do it. Doesn't do it. There are survival. I mean, they've seen down in the ocean, down where these, the high acid from the volcanic stuff, and there are these little tuber things that grow in high acids and stuff, but not a lot can grow in acids. Look under a pine grove. All the pine needles are highly acidic. You don't even have much weeds and stuff because it's just so acidic, So it's that sort of thing. So we use the base balance always here, but that's essential. When your blood gives you a good example, to me, what your fruits and your berries and your melons and your vegetables should be in terms of proper chemistry, a movement toward the base dominance. Not heavily so either. Makes for everything to stay liquidity and keep everything perfect and keep agglomulation out. Just that right pH mixture. And the problem is, we are as individual humans not smart enough to understand that. Obviously, take a look at the world of our chemistry, who thinks they're so intelligent, and they're not. So this is the worlds of the master chemist. And the master chemist knows it all. Well, the only way we can get understandings of that is not through the mind, is through aligning ourselves with the master chemist. And that is merging back, because you're a part of that master chemist, is merging with the master chemist, where you can see these things instead of using intellectual theories on other people's ideas and findings and theories. So when it comes to theories, even in my own world, I go, Wow, these these are a couple of long ones. Hey, Mike. I have come to realize that the reason I am struggling so much with energy is my body is not keeping my magnesium levels managed correctly. All right, so let's stop right there. Where would be the problem on both of those questions? And they're both from the same gland, and they are both dealing in energy. Right on. These are your adrenal glands. Where do you get magnesium metabolism at? Adrenals. You know, this is your adrenal glands, right? Correctly, and right even in the magnesium levels, so it can throw all your magnesium levels off. All right, so I take around 200 milligrams of mag oxidide a day, and it is the only thing that keeps me getting through it. But you see, that's the problem. Because in supplying your body with magnesium, your adrenals will never start helping you with that. With the steroids, you have to go after your adrenal glands, not supply the magnesium. Here's the other problem with that. I think with this formula, I'm not overly sure with this formula. This is magnesium oxide, but you have no calcium with it. You're creating yourself a real serious problem there, Mike, because what's happening is magnesium has a twin sister. And that twin sister is calcium. So you've got to be able to have those in proper ratios, or all this magnesium you're taking will push out your calcium, along with phosphorus too. You know, you can push out the sister and the little brother with that, doing this. So this is why you have to be real careful. Your symptoms might feel better, but you're not going to get a real remedy. Your real remedy comes when you go into these tissues, either with botanicals or using the glandulars to help, and then moving that lymph within them and getting these tissues rebuilt and healthy again. That's how you really have a permanent success with this. But you can use magnesium for even the nervous system, but it's just unbalancing you. And you want to be careful with that. I wake up in the morning, I never feel refreshed, only super depleted. So here's the thing, this might not, and this is a serious issue, because if your adrenals are that low, you're not recharging your myelin sheaths. That's a problem. So you want to look at your blood pressure when you get up in the morning. Buy you a cheap blood pressure machine or get you a cup. These are easy stuff to do. But see what your blood pressure is first thing when you get up in the morning. You might want to check that out, and you might want to have someone check your blood pressure laying down, because you might dump way down there. And another thing is possible is real low thyroid too. So you want to check your basal temperatures when you get up out of bed. Before you get up out of bed in the morning, you want to check your basal temperature under your arms. Check your blood pressures, because those are the two energy glands you're referring to that could give you that experience. You wake up, some people wake up more tired than they went to bed. So these are serious issues. And this only leads to MS and things like this, because you're not charging yourself up. And that's some serious issues with the adrenal glands. And then you might have a connecting link to where? Pituitary. Don't forget, let us not forget the pituitary gland in the chain of the glands. Remember, the pituitary gland is the head honcho. That's the matriarch. That's the mother of the family, looking and making sure all the other kids and spouse are working. So definitely want to look at that. You do not want to supply yourself with magnesium oxide. I suspect this is a kidney issue on top of that. I mean, you're probably definitely having a kidney issue, but what's on the top of them? The adrenals. But I would like to validate that. My kidneys are filtering as long as I keep energy up with magnesium. Look at that. I do feel a lot of pain in my kidneys still. Wow. Yeah. You want to work on that, my friend. You want to get on some herbs for the kidneys, adrenals. You might want to do the glandular adrenal 400. Take 3 times a day. If that's not enough, take 2. And do that for about a month and a half. And then jump to an adrenal formula hitchhike licorice root. You want to bring your blood pressure up around 120 or so. Now here's another thing you want to do is get rid of the parasites in your body. You want to at least do the first kit, and maybe do it twice. Get rid of the fungus, get rid of the candida stuff, get rid of any worms and stuff. You want to go that route as well, because that can suck down your energy as well. So there's a few things you want to do. I would not take the magnesium oxide. You throw your chemistry out of balance. Fix the adrenals and you'll metabolize magnesium better. That's what I would do, Mike. Do this right, and you'll get yourself turned around. If you're having any more problems, send in your eyes to me and mark it so they won't not take them off. I can't do it on everybody because I just can't get to everybody. All right, let's tackle this one. Hello, first, thank you. Thank you, and thanks. Who is this? Love and Life. Melanie. Hi, Melanie. All right, sweetheart, what's going on here with you, honey? Every time I listen to your videos, I get a little bit of hope back. Oh, you must be suffering here. And drive to continue on the road to Wellville. Never give up, Melanie. Never give up. Sometimes we're not blessed with a lot of karma, and we just have to work through it. You work through it, and the rest of your life will be great, because you will learn a lot by working through this, learning how not to create karma. That's another big question that's important for you guys to learn, is how, if you do, make it a positive one. All right. I have been listening to your YouTube on and off for almost 3 years, and I'm in love with the work you and your team do. Thank you, sweetie. I love you for that. I apologize for the long question. I know you have been. Well, you know what? If it's this important, let's go for this. My questions are about detoxing and regenerating my son. Oh, wow. Lucas? I get a lot of disheartening slack about my son not having enough protein because he is quite thin now and constantly hungry and growing like a weed, but was a chunk of a baby. Yeah, see, and you're right in fixing him. You're right always in fixing your kids, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing good about chunky, fat babies. No, you would rather see a skinny baby than a chunky fat baby, let me tell you. You know, both are problematic, but you can fix the malabsorption and fix the babies up that way. But when you're chunky, you can be malabsorbed as well, and just not doing well with your sugars and stuff and fats. That would be hepatic and adrenals. And so that's something you would want to take a look at. Just because a baby's skinny on raw foods doesn't make him unhealthy at all. You might want to try to get your young man's eyes taken with a cell phone in there the best you can, and let's take a look at him and see what's going on there. You know, that way if you want. But babies on raw foods will never be chunky. They will start getting firm. I talked about this in a few videos back. You don't want chunky, mushy babies. You want babies to build muscle on them, and they're crawling and everything. There's plenty of amino acids in fruits. Remember, primates can rip humans apart. So there's plenty of amino acids in fruit. If I don't know, supplying babies more amino acids is a smart thing to do. That acidifies them again, and you want to be careful. I've never seen unhealthy babies on fruit diets. I've never seen that, so I don't know. But you might give them some green drinks. I don't know how old your son is here. Maybe you'll say as we go along here. That depends the age, but initially you don't want to, Give them greens. That's way beyond a baby's. Can't deal with greens as a baby. But constantly hungry could be an indication of malabsorption. See, we have to look at the health of our babies, not just, they're on raw and not doing good, so they probably shouldn't eat raw. That's superficial thinking on the part of your family. And I don't blame them, but it's superficial part on humans. You want to go in there, just like we're in we want to go inside and take a look at this little baby, what's going on. So you definitely want to think about kidneys, adrenal glands, and things like this. But the babies that we have that are on fruit, they're on a lot of grapes and fruit, my grandson isn't deficient at all. Of course, right now, they're putting him on other things besides the fruits. And now he's up visiting with the grandparents, and he's looking chunky, fat, and one of them owns a health food store, so they're probably giving him all kinds of crap. It's just how people take things. They don't get it, they just think, I don't know. All right. he doesn't have much muscle mass, which I have been trying to improve to no avail. With adequate amino acids, oh wow, via chia, hemp, and even green powders. Well, okay. So then your baby has other problems. And it must not be a baby. If you're being able to give your baby hemp and all that, then it must not be an infant. So if your baby isn't putting on muscle, because your baby with all you're doing right here should be strong and muscular. If you're not seeing that, then it's a lymph system, it's malabsorption. And you'll want to fix that one big time, because nothing but problems will come along this way. And Chunky does give you an idea that he had adrenal problems, which means he has kidney and adrenals, which is the lymph system. So this is something, even if you can, honey, learn about the eye on the YouTube here, or classes online, whatever, and get a magnifying glass and look in your baby's eyes and see what you see. But you want to look around the pupil, that's the GI tract, look at the lymph system and stuff like that. Because giving him protein, that you're already giving him proteins. You're giving him amino acids. That's protein. Protein is complex structures of amino acids, which nothing on the planet can use. You can't use complex structures of amino acids. The bodies can only use simple structures of amino acids. That's why you see hydrochloric acid and pepsin in the stomach. And then what's the job of trypsin and thymotrypsin? You know, look at those things and you'll see the whole process of digestion, and then step back from that and ask you, look at all that complication when simplicity is always better. For energy and all the kickback from acids from the breakdown of proteins. And then if the proteins are absorbed, that's not good. But all the constant protein pushing has got me losing confidence after almost 3 years of trying to detox his lymph nodes on his head. We got problems. You've got problems, honey, with your baby here. Your family, you got to sit down and have a powwow, and they can watch this video, because your baby's got some serious problems here, and they're lymphatic problems. And the reason you're not seeing any better improvement with your lymphatic, with your tumors on the baby's heads, is that you're trying to give them amino acids. As long as you're trying to give them hemp, chia, and green powders, they'll never detoxify the tumors out of them. And your family needs to know this. And I can tell you right now, it's malabsorption. Absolutely. So your family has to understand this, because your family could be responsible for the death of this baby or the very sickness of this baby if you're not careful. Because this is serious. When you start getting tumors on the head of your baby, you have serious problems lymphatically. And if you don't address this, you're going to have serious trouble, because the kidneys are not filtering when this is happening. That means the adrenals and kidneys are down in this infant. Well, that means that the malabsorption's involved, and this lymph system, since it's way up here, this means the lymph system's backed up through this whole baby's body. This is serious stuff. Very serious stuff here. And the only way you're going to detoxify your baby is on fruits, berries, and melons. So your family needs to get with that. Because detoxification is regenerative detoxification. This is not just detox, this is regenerative detoxification. This baby's got to regenerate its kidneys and adrenal glands. This is essential if you want to have a good baby, honey. Holy crap here. This is not good to have lymph nodes swollen on the head. That just tells you the story right there. Right there's the story. Right there. And by the time you get lymph nodes swollen in the head, you know immediately that malabsorption is one of the key factors, and you can't force muscles on this infant. You'll just make them fat, like they were in the beginning, chunky, like milk made them, chunky fat. Nothing healthy about it. This is a problem, guys. Mothers and fathers, pay attention. Serious trouble with your infant. You let them go like this. You've got to go after the lymph system first. You want to put muscles on, you don't go after the muscles first, because you'll fail miserably and you'll make your baby sick. That's what you're trying to do. No. And your family's got to get with this, and this should be evidence in front of your family that you can't do it that way. You've got to fix the malabsorption, so the absorption of amino acids is essential, and now you can put on muscles naturally, and you don't have to force them. They'll come on naturally. The baby's in all the activities of crawling and running, and their energy's up. You know, these babies sitting around like this, not good. Babies need to have energy and movement and activity, and this is true. You don't want babies or your children watching TV and videos. You want them out playing and getting activity and building their coordination and everything else. Everything is building in children. Even crawling on the floor is essential for children. It's all mind-body connection, essential, neurologically essential. You learn that when you work on quads, particularly quads and paraplegic, but particularly quadriplegics, advanced quads, because you've got to get, especially when you reconnect them, and now they've been years down, you've got to get the mind connection back, crawling on the floors again, stuff like that. This is a whole world of resurrection, of regeneration, and rebuilding, and it's totally different than allopathic thinking of treating and let your baby sick and die and treating them with chemos and stuff like that. Oh no, we're not in that level of thinking. Sending them to St. Jude's to be full of chemicals, and now they're telling you what the babies are dealing with. This one's got lymphomas and stuff, and throwing you out. They want more money, more money. Makes me want to throw up. Ugh. Killing our people and allowing them to do it. Ugh, extreme ignorance. Ugh. So you got to wake up here before you hurt your baby, honey. Mostly by a diet that started to swell since he was 3 months old behind the left ear, now all over the back of and left and right sides of his head. Not hard, still a little squishy. Holy crap, honey. Our ND, our naturopathic doctor, said it was most likely fat. I hope so. These lipomas, that'll be better. But still, Mr. ND, get them out. Lipomas, benign, who cares? Get them out. It still shows acidosis. Not good here. But you don't want your naturopath to be the one that says they're lipomas. And you can tell a lipoma real easily over even a benign tumor, which is a lot more firm. Still can be loose a little, but a lipoma. So, irregardless, this isn't good. And he would grow out of it. Oh, how do you grow out of it? How do you grow out of it when you're feeding them proteins and stuff? How do babies grow out of it when you're feeding them milks and dairy products, which they can't metabolize the fats in the first place? How do they grow out of it, Mr. Naturopathic Doctor? That's what I'd like to know. And that's the problem with naturopathic doctors. Going back to the lady that asked me, what do you want to get into? Get into botanicals and this level of healing, because this naturopath needs to learn some things here. Not good when you're giving this advice around children. And more specifically in the areas where the occipital and mastoid group are. Well, this is also where the little baby's equilibrium and vertigo is, and where his sense of balance is, and his ability to get that in his ability to coordinate and grow and crawling on the ground. So you want to get this baby detoxed above all things else, and your family needs to hear this. And yes, your baby's going to get skinny, but you've got high nutrition coming in there. It's not just fruits just not hanging around there. Go back to the first lady who was telling you about how it pulled her spine totally straight. Don't think that fruit is nothing. Fruit is the power of everything to primates and Homo sapiens. A dead piece of rhino is nothing to us, but it could be some food for a cat. Different species eat differently, please. I've watched his eyes change drastically from spider webby open fibers to much straighter, tighter fibers. Woo-hoo! All right, now we're talking here. That is amazing, Mother. This is amazing, Mother. This is just, look at this. Now, This is pretty good. I'm excited about this one. This is really good because that spider webbing means your baby came in real weak genes, everything else. Now that you have them on so much fruit and all the good stuff, now the baby's tight. And that's what I'm saying. These babies in there, as an infant growing, this is the time you can wiggle out these genetic weaknesses and everything else. Good job, Mom. But you got to let go of the amino acid crop. Start realizing you got to get these tumors out of the baby. Even if they're lipomas, they will melt, but you want to get them away because you're not metabolizing fat properly. Body's too acidic. All right, this is good news. But his lymph stagnation that was getting better is now showing continuous thickening throughout his eyes. And here's a mother that knows how to read it and a family that doesn't listen to her, and that's what's sad. Here's a mother that's got her act together. Here's a mother that knows what she wants for her baby. Here's a mother that knows how to read the eyes and watching her baby's genes, like this mother. Now, got a family that isn't listening, and that's the sad thing because it's a stressor on the mother who knows what the baby needs and how to fix her baby, and the family's putting a stressor on them. So the family has to come up to understanding what malabsorption is and how serious this issue is and how serious even lipomas is, but especially tumors. Because a benign tumor, don't get me wrong, a benign tumor is a tumor. And the only difference between a benign and a cancer tumor is you might have a cell in the benign tumor that has not converted yet. It has not been chewed up to the point of, or it's just interstitial fluid. But there's just no difference. All tumors must go. All polyps must go. All cysts must go. And all lipomas must go. Like that mucus must go. Just from my observation, you got good observations, honey. I really, I like that. I've seen the white thickening in his eyes coordinate to the I'm constantly reminded iridology is a farce. You know what? Those people that live in that world, you remember the old saying, the meek shall inherit the earth? These kind of people will inherit the earth for a long time. Let them. Because I'm introducing to you guys in worlds and worlds that are so much more glorious and beautiful and free and fun, where the inhabitants aren't having their heads stuck where the sun doesn't shine. So I would ignore them. Who cares what other people think? You, especially you young guys and gals, you 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds. Who cares what other people think? The most important thing is that you understand truth. You love the Creator that created all this, whether you understand who that is or not. That you understand that all things that are beautiful are created by beauty, created by the beautiful Creator. But all things ugly are too. And that health and no ego and being humble, these are good things that people can share and have good relationships with. That's why there's duality, so there is relationships. When it's just the one, there is no relationships anymore. Everything is just one. That's why duality is important. And it creates relationships. Iridology is far from a farce. Discovered by the medical community, by a surgeon, and I love it. It is right on. The reader might be a farce. The reader of iridology might not know what they're talking about, but when you know iridology, you can go right to your problem and see these people are just not awake. They're sleeping. And you don't want them controlling the health of your baby. These are sleeping humans. And they need to wake up. That has been disproven with many studies of inaccuracy. I'd like to prove these statements. Oh, I proved iridology for years and years and years and years. There's no studies proving of their inaccuracy. Not really. The only inaccurate one is German iridology. That has not come up to the level it needs to. But iridology is like any other science. It's growing and learning, but it's as good as its readers and its iridologists. So I don't know what to say. You know, our field has been highly suppressed by the narcissistic elitists for years and years and years. So it's no wonder we're in the rears in our research and stuff, because we've been suppressed by the rich, by the world bankers. They, who started the AMA, guys? John Rockefeller. Well, John Rockefeller is one of the world bankers. Now, who started the American Cancer Society? His son, John Rockefeller Jr. So, a great tool for the World Bank. The allopathic community is one of the greatest tools for the agenda of the one world order I've ever seen. Understand that agenda and you'll know what I'm talking about. So, you ladies become strong and protect your babies from the ignorance and the unaware, because it's not worth it. Who cares if they're ignorant and unaware? Let them stay that way. We are the truth seekers. We are the awakened and the aware. Who cares? I don't care if people read my hand. My face isn't listening. He has brittle teeth. Okay. Now listen, I want you to look at your baby's parathyroid gland. You want to this is the most important time to look at your parathyroid gland and the glands in your babies, because their growth can be greatly affected. If the parathyroid's down, you're going to have brittle teeth, you're going to have growing pains, the baby's going to be crying a lot, their legs hurt and cramping and things like this. This is not good. So you definitely want to make sure that your baby's parathyroid is up there. There's nothing to scrape off of a little parathyroid tissue, off of a little parathyroid tablet. This is just raw desiccated parathyroid tissue, and just scrape that off and put it in a little applesauce or in a little fruit juice or whatever you're giving him, just to enhance the parathyroid gland. It won't affect hormones or steroids in terms of shutting the gland down. It'll enhance it. And this is the time when your baby's growing not to have parathyroids and pituitaries down. This is the time to watch your growth. And you want to watch the height and everything of your baby, because if your baby's not growing properly in the height and all that, you want to look at that pituitary gland and get them right in there on time. Can't hurt the baby by working on their glands. Can't hurt babies by working on their cells. They're little humans. It's all about proper dosages. The food is the same for adults or humans. Fruits, berries, and melons. We're frugivores. We're Homo sapiens. We're not cats, we're not dogs, we're not horses, we're not elephants, we're not lions and bears. We're not any of these. Hey, come on out, baby. I forgot to bring you a mango. Wait a minute. I brought a friend a mango. Let's see if she'll bring it in here. How do I get a hold of the operator? Let's see if this works. I don't know anything about our new system. Oh.
You have reached the voicemail box for Drew. I am currently
Drew, you're unavailable, period.
There may be a delay in response. However, if you can't reach me by...
I don't know who to talk to here.
Drew at
How do you... Okay. Okay.
Extension.
Let's see if I can get a hold of someone. Nobody answered their phones.
You have reached the voicemail box for Shannon at Dr. Morse's room.
I'm not having a good time.
Thank you for calling Dr. Morse's Herbal Health Club. You've reached the voicemail.
Isn't that funny? We can't even... I don't even know how to get to the operator. How do you get to the operator here? Is there a number I call? Nope. I don't know. I was going to show you a mango. I brought one in for our attorney there. It's a pretty nice size, but I got a big one to go pick, but it's up in the top of the tree, and I got to get up there this afternoon and get that baby out of there. Maybe I'll if someone comes by, I'll get you a picture of that. And used to have brittle nails, but have improved through the chews on them, but have improved through improved, though he chews on them, and slight curvature, mostly lower spine. Oh, no. Yeah, you got to get on the parathyroid gland. There's no question about that. You might want to give your baby the endocrine gland tincture. You know, a couple, I don't know how old or how big, but dosage-wise, you want to get the endocrine gland. That'll help that. And then let someone help you deal with this and get this done, because your family, this is not good. Your baby is not going down the right road. And if your family keeps pushing for these proteins, your baby's going to lose the curvature of the spine and everything else. You're going to see some serious stuff here. This is not good stuff. All right, so he's got a slight curvature, mostly lower spine. Shoulders are rounding forward in his posture, large head, knock-kneed, constantly a hot body. All right, you've got to work on your baby, honey. You got to get him on fruits, berries, and melons. Plenty of nutrition, more nutrition than look at these orangutans, little baby orangutan. They just get fruit and they rip people apart. Same species, we're almost the same species. We're more refined. So fruits, berries, and melons. A lot of good fruits out there. Get them on these. Get them the endocrine gland. Give them a little kidney. Give them a little. You can even give him a little more adrenal power. But you got to get your baby's lymph system, and that's why he's hot. He's got all these tumors. His lymph system's backed up. These are acids. Acids are heat producing, so his little body's hot. Not from thyroid, but from acidosis. Well, there's nothing good comes of this. Acids destroy tissue. So I hope your family's watching this, because family, you got to wake up to what's going on here. You're not going to be happy in the future. You can think what you want now, but I've had 45 years of regenerating people, and particularly babies, and this one's in trouble. He was slow to development stages from infancy to toddler. Okay, at least he's a toddler. And coordination isn't strong. All right, so you want the brain and nerve. I do upper circuit brain and nerve on him too. You're only talking about a couple of drops of either one of them. A bottle will last you forever. I mean, you put a little money into this. You're only talking about a couple $100 and you got food for a year of this baby. So you want to get upper circuit brain and nerve. There's no question with that. I'm really thinking pituitary here. You're going to see all types of curvatures and bad stuff. No. I would add endocrine gland. I would add parathyroid. As I said, I would use a little shaving off of a glandular for that one. Because this isn't good what I'm reading. People are quite judgmental of his diet. Well, who cares? You've got a baby in trouble here. That diet's the only way. You see how his eyes and fibers are getting tighter? So you are improving him, but you want to get him on herbs. You can't do this with fruit alone. Fruit does not have that kind of power. You need botanicals with them. And that'll start resurrecting this baby and turning this baby around, straightening up his back and everything else. And you want to do that. Who cares what the people think about his diet and physical appearance? If physical appearance is telling you he needs help, and it's not about the diet. You know, as a matter of fact, put him on a normal diet of all the other babies, and this baby's going to go down fast. Don't want to do that. As a matter of fact, it's because you have him on fruit, probably why he's not going down faster. Appearance which seems to chip away at my strength as a single mama trying to do her best. Well, I have to hand it to you if you're a single mother. But you have a baby in trouble, and I have to tell you, sweetheart, your lymph system's probably in trouble. I mean, you had to give your baby the lymph system, so your baby's lymph system, your lymph system is in trouble. So mom and baby need to go on a detoxifying journey, but this is regenerative detoxifying. You're in the process of regenerating the tissues within the infant as well as yourself. So, honey, you really, if you need any help, let's see if we can get Marcy or one of them to work with you here a little bit if you need it. But you really want to get, oh, look at this. But knowing I have a history of depression, anxiety, bipolar, candida, fatigue, low blood pressure, scoliosis, spider veins, weak skin, short-term memory loss, tonsillectomy, constant sinus congestion as a child, brain fog, and termed processing deficit, learning disability, and prolapses, coupled with his sperm donor sad diet in his whole life and 14 years of meth use, and whose mom and dad were meth users and alcoholics. I think my son started with weakened glands. I think you're doing pretty good too. I think you're doing pretty good too, sweetie. Jesus criminy. Well, you know what? You are a smart woman. Fruits, berries, and melons should be the only thing this young one has, unless you want to slip in some green drinks. You could slip in occasional green drink, and even some guacamole. But you got to get this baby on a high, good fruit diet. And I'll tell you, the grapes, the darker grapes, remember there's these little, they have them new out. I just came to get this video done, but I should have given it called teardrop grapes. Of course, they're probably, you know, a downline, but they have no seeds in them, of course, but they're teardrops. And you can just grab a hand. They're delicious. I just love them. And they're just, I found them in Publix down here, teardrop grapes. And matter of fact, it wasn't me that found them. It was actually Jennifer that found them. I just love them. I bought bags of them. I just love to grab them by the handfuls. Perfect for kids. Perfect for kids. Little teardrop grapes. Real cute. Just little teardrops things. It's cute as a button. That would be cute for kids, you know. Things like that would just be cute little things for kids, but this boy has a lot of history, so you're going to could have some healing crisis. But this is a case where you want some herbs, and as a single mom, if you can't afford herbs, I want you to call in here to Jennifer. Get a hold of Jennifer. Tell me it's the single mom on the YouTube, and let's see about helping you, because you got to fix yourself. You don't have a good history here. And yes, this is parathyroid. Look, honey, you have a history of depression. That's parathyroid gland. So you can see your baby's having it. You can see it in the symptoms. Anxiety, you can see your adrenal glands. You can see it in the baby. Bipolar, pretty much the same thing. Candida, everybody's got to don't worry about that. Fatigue, that's the weak adrenal glands. Low blood pressure, okay, that's your adrenal glands again. And this is really weak adrenal glands. So if yours is really low, then your baby's is even lower. So this is essential to work on these tissues. Your adrenal glands are everything to your nervous system. And a baby with low neurotransmitters, not good. I don't see anything good. So really, and prolapses, that's all parathyroid gland again. You know, as you're saying all this, I perceive that's easy to perceive. Coupled with, yeah, I get all that meth use and all that crap. Well, that's the world at large here. But detox and strengthen, detox and strengthen, detox and strengthen for everybody. Detox and strengthen. I think my son started with weakened glands, GI, lymphatic issues. I think you're right, too. I think that's pretty much, well, you're probably right on with that. The lymph system from you and that sort of stuff, the kidneys and adrenals. But remember, the thyroid and parathyroid, if you're not tall, sweetheart, I don't know what your height is, but if you're short, below, let's say 5'6", as a female, you've got a pituitary weakness, then that's what you might want to take a look at, because this is where we get that little and that is, you need to know whether your pituitary's down, because that's what's bringing the parathyroid down, or whether your parathyroid down is a genetic weakness. There's a difference, because if you work on your parathyroid and it's a pituitary, you might not go too many places. That's why sometimes people are working it and they don't seem like they're getting anywhere, because they're not working on the right areas. And working on the pituitary gives a bump to all the glands, since it controls all the glands. So if your menses is irregular, you're short, you want to work on your pituitary, I'd work on the baby's pituitary. Working on the endocrine gland formula has a little of each one of those. It's just a berry formula, perfect for kids. So putting them on fruits and the endocrine gland formula helps big time. Getting them on the kidneys, you want to make sure your babies are filtering, because this is serious stuff. And when you got humps and lumps on the back of the head, that's not good. And of course, this is the cerebellum, the equilibrium. This is going to affect the balance and the ability to develop coordination. But this is what's out there, guys. This is what's out there. I myself was only 1 week clean when I conceived. Aww. I stayed clean and went 100% vegan for 4 months pregnant. Good lady. I take my hat off to you, dear one. I take my hat off to you. You're a single mom. You've been beating the odds. This is a good woman, and don't falter. You've got our strength behind you. Take our strength. Here Here's our strength, honey. You take our strength and be strong. We're behind you 100%. The whole team of us are. Who cares about the naysayers? Their world is shallow. Yours, make your world full of love and light and beauty and health and vigor. Who cares if people want to live their little shallow lives? Enjoy the karmic world of planet Earth. It's a warring planet. Let me show you planets or dimensions that are far different. Far different. And joy and beauty and love amongst its inhabitants. So I get this. Through could tell my milk by 4 months pregnant. Though could tell my milk when breastfeeding was acidic because he developed perfect circular rashes on both cheeks. Yep. That's the problem with breastfeeding. That's why where's my formula? I want my breastfeeding formula. It should be here any day. That's why this formula is essential. You ladies get it. We'll make sure you have it if you can afford it or not. It's alkalizing. It's revitalizing. It's rebuilding. Baby has full of fungus too, probably, honey. Just to let you know. Had colicky? Yep. Probably has hard to digest their milk like that and everything else. So probably does have a little hepatic. The eyes have all of it. But by working your baby into the fruits and everything, you're going to regenerate the GI tract. The body lets it rebuild itself. So, you're going to be good here. I feel I loaded him with my body's acids. Well, you're always going to. So you can't fear that. That's just the way it is. The mother is the one that holds the baby. So yes, but you can get them out, and you didn't know any better, and it's just there's no book that comes here. Remember that? It isn't if our illustrious medical world has been helping anybody. They're as ignorant as everyone else, especially about these levels of problems. Nursing to about 18 to 20 months, that's a long time. So yeah, your baby's lymph system is probably a mess. So you have to detox. Don't get upset if your baby goes through cold and flu-like symptoms, mucus discharging out of them. That's going to be normal. Remember, babies love 104, 105 temperatures. Don't freak out. They love high temperatures. Just cool rag to the back of the head, nap of the neck, maybe set them in a little cool water. Keep it about 103. Don't freak out. That's nature. Fevers are essential. That's the skin, the largest eliminative organ we have. See? He's had no vaccines. Well, that's good. Holy crap. I wouldn't vaccinate this baby for nothing, right? This is, with a lymph system like this, that wouldn't be smart. Not with a lymph system like this. I see an ADD or seizure case coming. Yeah. Always vegan, now mostly fruit, with the exceptional mostly egg yolk. Nah, don't lose the egg yolk during this 1.5 year mark, but he seems to really want to eat them again. And beans, no beans. Why is this? Well, doesn't matter. Baby's probably a little on the hungry side because there's malabsorption here. So there's going to be hunger always. I would fix them, I don't know the age, I'd fix them a little guacamole, things like that. Apple sauces, things like that with raisins in it, all kinds of goodies. All kinds of stuff you can fix children. But I wouldn't fix the beans. Get away from the proteins. The proteins serve as acidosis. You don't build good muscle and everything with proteins when you're malabsorbed. You only serve to acidify and lose the kidneys. That's why we have Mr. Olympia. It's why you see the bodybuilders in the state. The bodybuilders are going to help change the course of things because they get it. And they're involving in plans of less proteins, more aminos the right way. So you're going to see a lot of the athletes getting smarter and smarter. A lot of the good guys out there changing their ways, putting on new programs and get away from the proteins to help the bodybuilders. So there's a lot of cool things going. Remember Anton, we were showing him, he's helping a lot. Neat stuff. I try to get healthy fats with young coconut, avocado, and pine nuts. I agree. I would leave the pine nuts as the only nuts. We just finished kit 1 and 2, and I'm going for kit 3 and 4. I am focused on his lymph, adrenals, kidneys. Yeah! Okay. And was wondering about upper circ, brain, and nerve. Absolutely. Essential. I'm losing my drive for good directions with people keeping at me. Don't lose your drive. Get on rawfig.com. Talk to people that are people with consciousness, people that understand life, people that are working with babies already, honey. Get on that, livefig.com or Artie or any of the other good ones. They're all Artie people. and get with people that'll help. Not the naysayers. You want to lose those friends and even family members. It's like, you're going to make me kill my baby? No. It's unawareness in these people, and if they're meth people, you don't want to be around them anyway. Let them go off and find when they get ripped enough, maybe they'll awaken. But don't lose your drive. Gain your drive. Get stronger. Pull deep within yourself. You're the force. You're the God force within. So's the baby, but you're the director. You're the one that's awakened this field of dreams. And so help your baby. Don't ever waver on that, honey. You have the full backing of us, all the people here. And it hurts with all the care, love, effort, research I've done to improve. Well, that's why I'm saying, if you're not lead dog, the view is always the same. There's the followers, the meek, who shall inherit the earth. Don't be one of them, because your view will always be the same. You'll never get out of despair and unhappiness, because the view is always the same. Cut that view off. Open the curtains, open the windows, and create a new view. You're the controller. You're the one, not them. You're the controller. It's your body. It's your baby. There ain't a judge in this world that's going to take babies away from mothers if they're taking care of their babies properly. And you'll have plenty of people backing that up. The fact that you're making the iris fibers tighter on your baby, honey, I wish you'd have taken pictures, because you will help to change the world of iridology in babies. But I would fathom he would be much worse off if I have help. Honey, Melanie, you can rest assured from our viewpoint that you're helping your baby way beyond most people on this planet. And so you should never feel bad. You should feel great. You're a great woman to do this. You can't judge the naysayers and the people that have their heads up their butts. You can't judge what all your beauty you're doing and learning on those people. I don't care who they are. It can be your mother. Who cares? If that soul is stuck in the mud, they're stuck in the mud. You can't stick yourself in the mud because someone else does, even if it is your family members. That's their journey. You're on your own journey. They just brought your body here. You're here from the God force. You're not. Your body's just produced out of you know what? The chemistry of the earth. Okay. I think I'm going to go, but I'm waiting for a mango. How about I turn this off real quick? I go get me a big mango and I bring it back. Now, this isn't the biggest one I got. Okay, now let me go do that real quick. All right. Isn't that a big one? No, I was just kidding. Well, I've got them a lot bigger on the tree than this one. A lot bigger. Isn't that beauty? Valencia Pride. But I want to show you a great big one. I've got one in the house. It's probably like this. I didn't want to bring it because I'm going to eat that baby. But, not neat. I don't know where people ever thought about fruit not being good for you. And they have this idea that because fruit is sweet, and I keep giving the analogy, you know, water's wet and fruit is sweet. And it's still not complex sugar, it's simple sugar. The Creator knows how to prepare the right food for the right species. Yep. Yep. All right. I've got one more because I took this lady's mango. She's getting ready to eat it. I think I better take it back. Maybe I better. No, that's her breakfast. That's her lunch. I love the golden ones. I've got some golden ones at home, or champagne ones I was going to bring you. They're little too. Let's do one more, but this is a big, long one. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Raw Life Health Coach. People and Pets at rawlifehealthcoach.com. This is Tamra. Oh, hi, Tamra. Is this your dog? I attended International School of Detoxification Level 1 in 2013, had a healing crisis in the middle of the class. I think I remember you. Had a healing crisis I've had some people who really had healing crises in the class, unfortunately, it's kind of sad. I remember when this, she's a homeopathic physician in Romania. She came. She's been here a couple of times. She was so sick. I felt so sorry for her. The whole seminar, she was sick. Had a healing crisis in the middle of the class from doing mostly fruits and sampling the tinctures that week. Yeah, well, we bring the herbs there so that everyone can sample them if you never sampled herbs. So, yeah, you could throw yourself into a healing crisis. Wow, best thing that ever happened to me. Really? Oh, that was good. Wanted to go up and meet you, but at the time, but I was feeling so shy. You shouldn't feel so shy. Come on up. Darn adrenals. Darn adrenals is right. You should have come up. Well, here. Let me give you a big hug. Cyper hug. I got home from International ISOD and had pneumonia. Pneumonia-like symptoms for 4 weeks. Ooh, crap. And was bedridden. Holy moly. I coughed out a lot of blood and black mucus. Oh my God, you had a lot of black mucus, huh? Well, it's a good thing you coughed that crap out of there. Holy crap, that black stuff, that's bad. That tarry black stuff out of the lungs. And people can poop it out. Oh, good job though. Holy crap, can you imagine getting that black, thick, tarry stuff out of there? Nasty. I have not had any symptoms of my Epstein-Barr or glandular fever since. See, and that's what I'm saying. Most of our problems are obstructive in nature. Then they start obstructing, and then cells go down, and then we pass those genes. When you really look at it all, it's not complicated at all. And then we go on and start doing other things once we get this down. Let me see. So grateful for you for changing my life. Much love to you. Well, same here, honey. That's it. I'm sorry you had a healing crisis during the class. It's always nice to feel good during a class. On another note, I have dedicated my life to helping animals. I recently almost lost my 14-year-old husky. That's your husky. His liver levels were dangerously high, and he was losing his kidneys, incontinent. Oh, wow. But a year of working with him with herbs and raw diet, fruit and veggies, he has completely turned around. I also got him off his thyroid after 5 years of him taking them. His liver levels went from 1100 to 555, with the normal range being under 135 or so. Not quite sure of the specifics. Still a little high. Keep working on him. Keep working on him. Keep working detoxifying him, getting after those kidneys and adrenals. Same thing as a human. Clean up that liver gallbladder. Good job. See, you guys are showing the world how you take the sick, the dying, and you turn it around. And that includes the animals. You guys are good. But we'll get that down. You keep working that down, honey. You'll get it down. That shock cost us, oh wow, still a little high, but he's still doing better. He ate a sock. Oh God, here we go. This is interesting. He ate a sock and had to have surgery to remove it from his stomach. $5,000. $5,000 to expensive sock. You know, I look at that little poodle. He eating everything. And I worry about the little chihuahua because she's like a teacup. She has a very narrow esophagus. You know, the littler they are, the smaller everything is. And scary. We then had his blood retested, and they now think he has Cushing's. They think that is why his appetite is so ravenous all the time, and why he is always getting into trash and laundry. Couldn't find any information on Cushing's on the YouTube. Well, you know what? This is what I would do. You want to go after his adrenal glands, go after his kidneys, because that take care of the Cushing's, and because that's the adrenal glands, you know, you want to go after them. What was it you said? It crossed my mind. Have you dewormed him yet? You might want to deworm him, or fungal him at least, parasite him at least. Now, he could have malabsorption. No, I mean, everybody gets the same stuff. So this is the lymphatic system again. So just keep working it, keep working it, keep working it, and you'll get them. You'll get them, because I was telling you about that poodle. Like, I couldn't believe it. But she had him full bore, lymph, kidneys, adrenals. She went full bore after him, and that's a little dog. So really, you got a husky here, a beautiful thing, and you should be able to take care of him right off. But get those adrenals up, the kidneys up. I think the endocrine gland formula would be good. Remember, genetics is in the kidneys are pretty much that's pretty much all canines. It is okay to put my. Is it okay to put my husky coda an adrenal glandular for that? Absolutely. Absolutely. On adrenal glandular, is it common to go from hypo-thyroids to having Cushing's? Yeah. 1 minute. I'm going to finish this one up, and then I'm done. Well, everything is interconnected. When things start going down, unless you're talking specific genetic weaknesses, which they go down because of the lymph system anyway, you can pretty much think that all things are connected in that way. My second question, but again, we do have pituitary glands that do control all the glands. So you never know. Dogs have pituitary glands too. So you just make everything healthy. And realizing that blood and lymph flow through all things. Blood brings the goodies to make things healthy. Lymph removes the acid, waste, and things to take away all the bad stuff. So once you get those things moving good, then you can only use herbs to enhance the function of. I'm going to use herbs to enhance the function of the kidneys so I can get everything moving. I'm going to use maybe an herb for the pituitary just to enhance that a little bit. So the endocrine gland formula is a great formula for dogs, and it'll help enhance all the glands. And you might want to add an adrenal formula on top of that too. The only relationship I can see between the two would be the pituitary or the lymphatic system. Okay. My second question, a month after my husky had a sock, my other dog, Osa, who is a Malamute wolf hybrid, got diagnosed with bone cancer in her rear ankle after 4 months struggling with a limp that was not improving with rehab. You know, why would one, when someone has pain and get a limp, animal or human, go to rehab without first removing the acidosis, the inflammation? See, because when you're having trouble with something, you know there's acidosis or inflammation, and that's the and inflammation, remember, is another word for acidosis. It's a body's immune response to proteins and invaders. So so you might want to take a look at that. I felt forced to amputate. Ooh. Well, you never know. You can't judge that, whether it's wrong. If the animal's older, I don't know. But remember, you can pull all this. Remember, all the word cancer means is degeneration. Just put it that way. And that word is related to the cells, not the fluids. But it is the fluids that bring the cells to the point of degeneration. Well, there's only two fluids, and you can't blame the blood for doing that, because the blood can't do that, because if the blood could do that, you'd be dead before it would do that. So that's not the problem there. The real issue is the lymphatic system, again, going back, and this is another dog, so it's going back to kidneys and adrenals always. And remember, the canine group, and that's all of them, are notorious for having renal weaknesses. Just the nature of dogs. And you see that, some more than others, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But you would do the same thing on a human as you would. If I get cancer in my hand, are you going to remove it? No, I'm going to, meaning that the lymph is stuck in my hand and I'm breaking down my cells, I want to pull that out of there. So remember that the next time. Just pull this out of there and just work on the lymph system, the kidneys, and adrenals, and pull this stuff out of them. But cancer is a very scary word, and they made it that way. And the reason you see so many deaths from it is the treatment of it. You see more deaths from cancer because of the treatment of cancer than the cancer itself. And we went over this and over this on video after video. And it is study after study. Even CBS News agency found that if you did nothing when you're diagnosed with a cancer, you'll live longer than if you treat it. And these uphold all the studies that have ever been done, and up to 12 times longer. So, you know, a decision is a decision, and you did the best that you had to do for the suffering animal at the time. I am devastated that I had to put her, oh, you put her under. Oh, you didn't. I had to put her under, put her under twice and expose her to the top. Oh, yeah. I thought you meant put her down. Whew. Well, that's the other thing. So I would say brain and nerve, put her on the circulation formula a little bit, or the blood formula. The blood formula cleans up the blood. It's also a lymphatic for tumors and stuff, but it's a good blood cleansing formula. So you might want to get her on the blood formula, brain and nerve formula just for a little while. Enhance her nervous system. Also go after the kidney, go after the problem, go after the kidneys and adrenals, and you'll have everything good there. Let me see. They also did a bone biopsy the week before that, so I'm sure her poor body is very overloaded. Yeah. She is day 6 post-op, doing better today. It has been extremely challenging. I don't want to feed her any raw meat anymore. I know. Don't you? I know. Well, you can convert them to vegetarian, and they do well. I've never done that, so I can't tell you how, but I've seen other people do it. I have. I saw a young lad, and I had health food stores back in 1970, was converting his golden retriever to vegetarian, and did it, and looked better. And I read stories where the coats, some of these dog trainer growers or whatever, they use the vegetarian lifestyles for the coats are better and looks better and the skin stays better and stuff. So I don't know. I know in omnivore world, in nature, most omnivores in nature, meat eating is the least they do. So I don't know. Remember I talked about the black bears hardly eat meat. Grizzly bears, 65% sage grass. They only have about 7% meat or something. I mean, when you really look at the lifestyles of them. So it makes you ponder. She is day 6 post-op. Let's see, I don't want to, okay. She doesn't really seem interested in it anyway. I have been stringing 1 to 2 cups of fruit smoothies and superfood 2 and Fab 4 with a few other tinctures into her mouth twice a day. She actually seems to be enjoying the attention of being fed with a I bet she does. The dogs like to be fed. Go figure. Oh, they like to be fed. It takes me about 40 minutes twice a day to feed her. She will also eat dates and dried fruit. Is that okay? I suppose. She's doing it. But I would think omnivores would have a better way with the fruits and things like dates and figs and vegetables because, as we talked about earlier, the extensive length of a herbivore's digestive tract. In other words, vegetables are much harder for our species and would be for omnivores to digest. And for carnivores, they have to go to pre-digested, which means they go right to the gut and eat the pre-digested of the gut. Hang on, I'm just... Okay. So you're doing good. I mean, you're the mama basically, and you're taking care of them. So I commend you on that. You're doing really well. Am I doing the right thing? I can't overly tell you. I've worked on humans a lot more than I have animals, and I've just been watching all you guys work on animals. We do work on animals. We tell them what to do, but I advise raw meats on the low part, but unless there's cancer and stuff, and then we go to the vegetarian stuff and whatever the dog will like. You have to, just like you're doing, see what the dog will like and what it'll eat and what it won't eat. But it's all just good nutrition. far as I'm concerned. But I put my dog on some herbs. You know, you definitely want to go after why he had the cancer, or he had the cells that were being damaged, so that's the lymph system. So you want to go after the lymph system for sure. That's the adrenals. Kidneys, of course. You want to go after that. If you want to go after a little liver, gallbladder, stuff like that, it's the time now to fix your dog up and make them healthy. So you can go after anything. Herbs are for everything. Fun stuff. You don't have to be afraid of them. These herbs are good for babies. Human babies are on them. So if human babies are on herbs, so can baby dogs. How long should I do this before adding some meat into the mix? I don't know. You know what? I would say, I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. These are omnivores that require some proteins like that, so a little bit of raw meat once in a while probably wouldn't be bad. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. He's a big dog, too. So I would say a little raw meat would be probably pretty cool. But wrong guy to ask. I think maybe get on the rawfigs.com and see how many people are working on their animals at these levels and see where we're at with that. We really need to have more information on how you work with dogs and stuff. You know, I do know a lot of people that have been using fruits, a lot of fruits with their dogs, and herbs, and turning them around, some veggies, but it depends on the dog and what they like and not like. Like I said, that little poodle you saw, he likes a little orange juice, he likes a little everything. But the Chihuahua, very, very finicky. Now, I know you say that bone cancer is a harder cancer to detox. Well, it's just that in bone you have very minute spaces. It's all about the density of that area. That's harder to move that out of there. But bone cancer is very... I'm going to use using the bone cancer word in their words, but meaning that your bones are breaking down from the acids. Very, very curable stuff. I mean, we get it all the time. So it's just harder, but it's not undoable. Not at all. But why is because the density of those tissues. You know, when you got normal cells, like your liver and gallbladder, your interstitial spaces are pretty good size, and you got plenty of spaces around the cells. Bone, you have really minute spaces because you got bone matrix involved. You've got what appears to be a hard object, which bone is not solid, but it appears to be that. So you got very minute spaces. That makes things squeaky, harder to get through. So then, what is the lesser of two evils as far as feeding? If she won't eat fruit anymore, then I'd go to the meats, the raw meats and stuff. But use the herbs then to get your things done. Yeah. She can be very picky. Yeah, I know dogs are very picky. A little meat and raw veggies, absolutely good. And then with the herbs, and now you've got it. A good diet. Yeah, I think so. They live long with those. No meat and some grains. No, I wouldn't do the grains. I don't know. When you ask me which is better, grains or meat, raw meat, I think for an omnivore, raw meat would be better than grains. When you're talking about complex sugars, now you're talking about a need to have good adrenals because you've got a lot of sugar metabolism, you can get a lot of fungus, you can get a lot of mucus built up in the body with this, you can clog the bowels up pretty good with that, so I would definitely be in favor of the other. In gratitude, Tamra. Thank you, Tamra. Best I can help you with, honey. Best I can do on that. But beautiful dog. Beautiful dogs. Thank you guys so much for taking your precious time and tuning in to us here. I know we don't know everything about everything, but I hope we know enough to help all of you get yourselves out of hellville, that's for sure, and your animals too. But we love you all. Thanks for all your helping others too. The word is getting around and getting back. Blessings, blessings, blessings. And go find one of these big mangoes. I got them bigger. I'm going to bring you some bigger ones. I want to wait till I get one really ripe and then we can eat. Oh, they can't eat it on the camera. How are they going to taste these big Valencia mangoes? The Mango Man. Love you guys. Thank you.